Goku stands strong in the ring, having managed to knock Hit off his balance for just a few seconds, allowing him to ring out the time-skipping assassin. Dropping down from his godly Akari state, the Saiyan jumps off the ring, helping Hit up. The assassin happily accepting this, thanking Goku for pointing out the flaws with his fighting style, while Goku laughs that if Hit had been fighting with no restrictions, he would have won with no problems. So the pair make a promise that next time they fight, Hit can go all out, something the Universe 6 fighter is happy to agree to. Goku celebrates his victory, but a presence which makes both gods and angel alike scared shows up on the scene. Spotting the change in tone, Goku of this timeline is smart enough to at least take a bow at the sight of Zeno, before introducing himself once more with a handshake, causing the small deity to take an affinity to the Saiyan. With talks of another tournament in the future, Goku smiles, telling Zeno he will help set it up. Goku makes his promise as he heads back towards his family, bidding Zeno farewell and hoping to see him soon. As Goku sits around talking to his family for a few minutes, they all climb into the pod of Whis, who plans to take everyone back to Earth, which is when Goku informs the angel that he will be staying on his home planet for a while, and Piccolo, hearing this, decides to use this chance to get some more one-on-one training with Whis. The Namekian's smiling at the chance of managing to pull ahead of Goku, but as he begins to smile, a shooting pain rips through his body, causing him to grip at his chest, trying to figure out what it is, but as soon as the pain comes, it goes. It confuses Piccolo and he can't figure out what just happened. But before Piccolo can ponder this too much longer, the sound of Vegeta asking if he could be joining in on the training under the Angel, just temporarily, to test his own might. Both Beerus and Whis do have a newfound respect for the Prince, so do agree just to test the limits of his power with these Kai abilities, and also wondering if the Prince of All Saiyans has some God Key in him. But before they can inquire too much longer, they arrive on Earth, swiftly dropping off all those who want to depart here in Capsule Corp Gardens, with Whis, Beerus, Piccolo and the Kais all heading off back to their respective destinations, leaving just our Z warriors on the planet. As Goku takes a deep breath in, happy to be home, everyone who isn't part of the Brief family shares a look and says that they will all meet up tomorrow to celebrate. For now, they want to leave Goku a chance to catch up with his family in a more personal setting. As our Z warriors fly off, leaving just the Brief family sharing a smile as they walk towards Gohan and Vidal's on-site home, wanting to invite the couple to join them for a feast, only to walk into their house and neither be present. This isn't too weird, however, since it's likely that Gohan's training and Vidal's watching, but as they arrive in the training room, there's no one here, causing a bit of worry to fester in everyone's heart. So Goku begins starting to search for their energy, thinking they must be nearby, or maybe even Vidal had gone into labour and been taken to hospital, but as Goku begins to sense the city, he struggles to find them. In fact, as he searches around the city even more, and he's unable to feel the energy of anyone, not a single life form in the city. And as Goku has this thought, he begins to expand the radius he's sensing energy, only to learn that he cannot feel the energy of Roshi, Kami, or Cell. Concern now creeps along Goku's face as he tells Trunks to stay with the girls, as Goku takes flight heading off towards the lookout, hoping that there is an explanation for this blackout of energy. Trunks, having started to piece together something is wrong, has already begun to move his family into the main building, desperate to protect his first child. But when arriving in the main building, they come across a sight which confuses them all, as the group come across statues scattered throughout the whole building, all of them looking equally terrified. It takes a moment, but soon Bulma realises that some of these statues are some of her class, and they were clearly running from something before being petrified like this. Hearing this, Trunks remembers back to Deborah and his abilities, wondering if it was an ability shared by the Demon Clan, and wondering if this is their retaliation for his death years ago. But he can't figure out why they would wait to strike now. But for now, all he can do is hope that his father figures out what's going on as well, as he sits around making sure that no one gets his family. Not a soul. As Goku flies towards Kami's lookout, he suddenly feels the energy of Chi-Chi flare up before both hers and Krillin's disappears off the planet. In a state of panic, the Saiyan no longer playing games activates his god form, rushing towards Kame House, only to find the island empty, with some statues decorating its shoreline. But upon further inspection, Goku can see these are the statues of his friends, coming to a similar conclusion as Trunks, of this being some sort of Demon Clan rebellion. Goku double times it towards the lookout, Goku's panic causing him to miss the creature lurking in the depths, who, seeing his ultimate goal of power flying away, starts heading towards what he needs to achieve it. Goku lands on the lookout, having made it there in record time, only to find the place in disarray as it had been attacked, with a giant hole punctured through the floor, with Kami and Popo both petrified a couple feet away. Goku understands now why Piccolo didn't disappear, but this gives Goku some good news, because it now means there's two ways to undo the petrification that has been done to his friends. They could use the Dragon Balls, they need to find them, but they could use the Dragon Balls. Or they could kill whoever has done this, but that would require him finding the culprit, and it would be easier with the guidance of Kami. Meanwhile, in West City, Trunks had sensed the energy of Krillin and Chi-Chi both disappear, with their daughter having gone into hiding, and he can no longer sit around. While he is worried for his family, he is now worried for his friends. So in a moment of stupidity and hating sitting around and wanting to save the day, Trunks decides he's going to go look for his father, whose energy has also disappeared, likely due to him using his god form, but just in case Trunks wants to make sure that everything is fine. So telling Bulma to defend everyone, knowing that she can hold her own if a fight comes down to it, he powers up to Super Saiyan 2 and flies out of the city as fast as he can, not realising he had taken the bait laid out for him, as only a mile outside of the city he is ambushed by a familiar but foreign assailant, with Trunks only being able to figure out who the attacker is at the last minute, and managing to mutter out the word "Cell," as the bio-droid in his semi-perfect form mutters out a sorry, while wearing a grin as he drains the life force from Trunks' body. It only takes seconds for the lights of Otherworld to begin to flood Trunks' eyes, but just before death can strike Trunks, just before all of his energy is drained away from him, a wob of spit hitting him in the head causes a familiar feeling to overflow Trunks, as he realises now that Cell is the one responsible for whatever sort of attack has happened today, but cannot figure out why. But before Trunks can ask any questions, he's unknowingly joined his twin in becoming a statue. As the heavy rock begins to plummet towards Earth, destined to smash into a million pieces against the ground, Cell catches it, sighing in relief at this. As his body begins to glow with a white light, he smiles, knowing now that the power of the twins was more than enough for him to achieve his ultimate form, as after a few seconds of his energy surging, he becomes perfect, and his power is mighty. Looking at the solid statue of Trunks, he promises to allow the boy to spend the rest of time by his family's side. Cell, having now achieved his perfect form, has actively given away his location, as Goku bursts onto scene in his godly Akari state, as he finds Cell stood next to the now petrified Trunks. Goku's brain cannot figure out straight away what's gone down, but he can recognise Cell thanks to his key signature, and he asks his friend what the fuck happened here, and who did this to everyone. Cell looks at Goku. The Saiyan's power is incredible, his energy is off the charts, and Cell then realises he can feel the energy of Goku for the first time in years. Cell hasn't been able to do it since Goku had achieved godhood, realising that the combination of his energy, Trunks' energy, and Gohan's must have combined all of the minute amount of god ki they all had in them, and allowed him to achieve a godly state himself, having never realised how much he needed his perfect state until right now. Cell feels the power of the Saiyan, and he can tell that they are equal for the first time in years. They are truly equal. Cell smiles as Goku looks towards him, concerned on his face, as he repeats his previous question, as Cell responds with the answer Goku feared, announcing how he had done everything. Goku doesn't understand. He cannot figure out why Cell is doing this, but before he can ask any more questions, Cell looks towards Trunks' statue, back at Goku, and turning to look at West City. Goku clenches his fist, shouting out, demanding an explanation, with Cell turning to Goku, asking what he knows of his creation. Goku looks confused. He knows Cell was built up of many different fighters, but Bulma purged Frieza, Raditz, Vegeta, and the Ginyu's DNA from Cell, while implementing more of his, their kids, and her own to try outweigh the evil Cell was designed to become. And Cell asks Goku if he is not evil, and if Bulma is not selfish. Goku, still trying to understand, looks more confused, as the book shouts out that while Bulma removed evil beings from his genetic makeup, she left in those who others might consider evil. Cell screams out how Goku's drive to become stronger and have a good fight had put the planet in danger in the past. Goku goes to argue back, but Cell gets to release his true feelings for the first time in years, so it doesn't give the Saiyan a chance to speak, screaming out that he was made up from each member of the Brief family's DNA. He has Goku's desire to become stronger and break his own limits, something that they prevented him from being able to do. Bulma's thirst to discover the unknown and master the very unknown she has just found has left him desiring his perfect form more than ever before. Gohan and Trunks' desperate nature to try and be their own individuals and to make both their mother and father oh so proud has left him yearning for what he is designed to become, and that is perfect. This made Cell so desperate to achieve his perfection, but to do that would require the androids, something they all took away from him, so he was forced to train in hopes that pushing his physical limits would be enough to awaken the power hidden in his genetic code. However, the more he trained, the further it felt like he got, and he desired it so desperately, so when training didn't work, he had to turn to his intellect, something Bulma was so generous to lend him, and theorise how he could achieve this power, and that's when it hit him. Maybe, if he consumed enough energy, maybe he could break the limits pre-programmed into his DNA, and he could achieve perfection. So from that day, he began fattening up the Saiyans like pigs to slaughter, in hopes that one day they will reach the level of power high enough to break his programmed limits. Cell admits that a day did come before this day. He thought they were all powerful enough to help him achieve his perfection, but on that day it was the day he absorbed the Bora, and after taking more than 50% of that demon's life force, a demon who was so strong it was taking all 4 of them to hold him back, nothing. He absorbed that demon for everything he had, and he didn't even achieve the next level of power, so he knew he had to wait. He had to keep playing this game with them, keep making sure they're getting stronger and stronger, and that's when that damn cat showed up. The godly forms that Goku acquired was the signal he needs to begin to plan how to take their energy. So using a combination of the Demon King's Piccolo's ability to make spawn of himself and the multi-form technique, he made a minion who was so observant and so different from him that no one would realise they are the same, and he sent that creature out to collect energy from people of Earth, slowly absorbing them one by one. However, as the Z-Fighters slowly started to zoom in on this creature, he knew he had to pull out, especially when Gohan started to grow suspicious, is when he decided to change up his tack. He told everyone that he was doing a soul-searching mission, when in reality, all he was doing was buying his time, allowing his minion to continue striking but in less frequent patterns, and taking much stronger people. People Goku had fought at former Tenkaichi Budokais, and over time his minion grew very strong, and soon it was time for him to strike. Faking a dangerous battle, causing Gohan to come bursting onto the scene to try and save him. However, the moment Gohan showed up, his energy was already his. As Cell absorbed both his minions and Gohan's abilities to gain the second stage to perfection, and with Trunks' given help, he accessed the final. So all that's left from the Sun family boys is Goku, the final step to him truly becoming the ultimate being, something that the god of destruction Beerus couldn't even stop. Goku is stunned silent. He struggles to believe it. Why is Cell turning people to stone? He doesn't get it. But being able to read his former training partner's mind, he gives a not-so-cocky smile, as Cell admits that his time on Earth hasn't all been bad. Even if he was trapped in his imperfect shell, he still came to care for the people of this planet, and more importantly, Goku and his family. They became like his own family, and as much as he desires to train all of their energy, he cannot kill them. His body will not allow him, his heart won't let him, so instead he will capture them all in statues, moments before their death, meaning they will be alive in both physical and spiritual form, as their statues will spend the rest of eternity together at Capsule Corp, while their energy will remain in him for the rest of time, long after he has conquered this universe and the next. However, he doesn't want to end his time on this planet without one good fight, so he planned for his final bout on this planet to be with the man he had come to call a close friend, who he was designed to kill, as he looks Goku in the eyes, announcing that the way to free his sons and his friends is to kill him. But if Goku's to lose, not only will he be joining his sons as statues as an energy source for Cell, but both his daughter and wife will be as well. Goku, hearing this, feels the energy of Bulma, Eraser, and Cargo. They're all in the city. He feels a great deal of sadness, but he knows he needs to stop this bug. He knows he needs to make sure that he keeps his family safe. So with a sad look in his eyes, he powers up his energy, revealing his true godly power, and this is sensed by both Beerus and Whis, making the angel who had made the trip mostly back to Beerus' planet turn around, heading to Earth. As Piccolo tries to figure out what has got Goku fighting on all cylinders, Cell smiles as the blue light of the godly Akari engulfs the field they stand in. Cell joining Goku, showing off his power, charging himself as the two auras light up the entire planet and almost engulf it in the flames of their aura. Soon both fighters stand face to face, as Cell throws the first punch faster than Goku was expecting, his fist colliding with Goku's chest, sending a shock wave of energy through his entire body, causing the Saiyan's body to bounce off the earth as it goes on a crash course towards a nearby mountain range. Cell gives chase as Goku corrects himself mid-flight and begins to fire off a barrage of blasts on the oncoming Biodroid, but the Bugman effortlessly dodges the oncoming blast once again, getting in Goku's face. However, this time the two share a quick exchange of blows. Having spent years fighting and training together, they are able to block and parry one another with ease, keeping the fight on relatively equal footing, as Goku fights knowing he cannot lose, while Cell relishes in the battle to the death he had been craving for so long. After a long burst of clash which shake the very planet, it alerts everyone who is still alive of the ongoing battle, as the matriarch of the Brief family doesn't want to sit on the sidelines again. Having been useless since Beerus had shown up on Earth, she runs to a lab, quickly grabbing a tool she had been working on for the better part of a decade, and shouts for her daughter to take her to the battlefield. The girl with a somber look on her face agrees, as they both fly off, leaving Eraser and Cargo to sit in hiding at Capsule Corp. As we rejoin the fight, Cell is the one to gain the advantage as he stabs his tail into Goku's legs, taking a small sum of energy before the Saiyan using the Kienzon cuts himself free of Cell's grasp, before turning on his heels and kicking Cell in the chest, causing him to fly away ever so slightly. However, after only a few seconds of getting absorbed, Goku was feeling a great deal of fatigue from this. Cell, once more energized, jumps back into the fight while Goku is still trying to get his breath back. As a now fatigued Goku struggles to follow the movements of a re-energized Cell, whose attacks have become faster and sharper, while Goku's has become more sluggish and sloppy. With his drained energy, Goku is having to desperately watch as Cell's tail does fake-out jabs towards him, causing Goku's eyes to dart towards the tail and trying to avoid it, when in reality Cell was opening Goku up for a powerful hook or jab multiple times. As the fight rages on, Goku is getting beat down more and more, as Cell is easily able to apply pressure to Goku, who is trying to do all he can to avoid the beating he is taking, with him remembering every word that Whis had taught him over their year of training. And while Goku relives his training with Whis, Cell goes to take some more energy, striking with his tail, but as if Goku moves without thought, the man backflips out of the way and avoids the tail strike, as Goku's body then becomes cloaked in blue light with his hair spiking upwards, Goku showing off his Super Saiyan Blue state, as he throws a punch into Cell's chest, sending a shockwave of pain through the bug's body. As Cell coughs up blood, Goku thinks to himself he has to finish this fight fast. Having only recently begun to work on this form, it's still very unstable, but will be good for a short burst of a fight. As Goku shows off the new level of power he has achieved, it proves to give him the advantage, as this new transformation proves to put a gap in his and Cell's powers, as each punch of Goku's feels like it's about to rip through Cell, with some even successfully managing to do so, but Cell shows off his new and more powerful regeneration thanks to absorbing Kami, as he heals the wounds in seconds and continues to fight Goku, now on the back foot. As the fight continues on, Goku is now truly feeling the fatigue of battle, with the battle against Hit now going alongside using his blue state, and this battle, it's beginning to slow the Saiyan down, and Cell can see this. Even though Goku is still stronger, he can see that the flickers of blue flames around Goku are beginning to grow weaker and weaker, and he admits to Goku that he will always be his strongest and closest rival, but now they will become the strongest being together, as Cell trips Goku off his feet and using all of his strength goes to impale the Saiyan on his tail, wanting to take whatever energy Goku has. Goku luckily catches the tail before it can impale his body, however, and is now trying desperately to push back the tail of the key-eating beast. However, it grows closer and closer every second. Goku starts to panic, not sure what to do. However, a sudden surge of energy followed by a ki blast suddenly hitting Cell knocks the bug off Goku, as both Saiyan and Biodroid turn to see Bola, cloaked in a golden aura of Super Saiyan, as the girl tells Cell to get away from her father. All the while, tears stream down her face at the thought of her best friend trying to hurt her family. Luckily for the girl, it seems Cell shares her same apprehensions as he stands on the spot, unsure of how to act, desperately wanting to have her energy and power, but not wanting to hurt her, the person he had come to see as a little sister. As Goku weakly pulls himself to his feet, trying to back up his daughter, a gentle hand placed under his arm helps lift him up. As Goku spots Bulma holding some sort of blaster that the Freezer soldiers used to use, but also looking completely different and new. The woman asks what's going on with Cell. Goku admits that the hunger of perfection has driven Cell insane, and he is no longer an ally of theirs. And as if hearing what Goku said, Cell's hunger for power overwhelms him once more as Cell jumps forward going to take on Bulma, but his heart is not in the attack, allowing the girl to dodge it, and feeling the benefits of a rage boost and her first Super Saiyan transformation, is able to counter with an uppercut, sending Cell skybound and chasing after the bug. Having seen that Cell is even willing to hurt her, tears stream heavier down her face, but she needs to defend her mother and father, so chases after Cell, wanting to buy her mother as much time to enact the plan they discussed on the way here. Watching his daughter fly after a beast he even can't face, Goku goes to join the fight, but Bulma stops him, saying that in the state he's in, he would never win. Instead, she wants to use this. Holding up the gun, Bulma explains that this is something she has been working on since the androids took her years ago. Its design and premise is based off the Freezer's foot soldiers. However, it uses the blueprints of Jiro's key absorption devices to collect energy from someone willing to lend it, and when it's fired, the blaster amplifies the power by using the same thing which increases gravity in the gravity chamber. Goku looks slightly lost. However, Bulma explains that when he feeds it energy and she fires it, it will become 2 times stronger. So Goku needs to put all the energy he can into this blast, and it should be more than enough to kill Cell. Goku, hearing this, tells his wife that she will need to aim, as his vision is going foggy. She nods her head, telling Goku that there is already traces of Gohan and Trunks' ki in the blast. Goku just needs to give it whatever he has left. The Saiyan, hearing this, places his palm on the gem sitting on the back of the gun, wrapping his arm around Bulma's waist to make sure she doesn't fly off as he begins to charge his energy. At first, a white aura of his base form begins to cloak the pair, and then, as the aura grows more powerful and wider, it turns green at the power of his Ikari state. Bulma can feel the energy of each form of Goku's, working his way up slowly: Super Saiyan, the Super Ikari, the God form, Godly Ikari, Blue, and Goku, seeing his family on the line, watching his daughter desperately fighting off Cell in a losing battle, as the bug gets more and more comfortable at attacking the little girl, and soon is getting ready to strike. Goku lets out a scream, combining everything this family has ever given him, as he uses the power of his God, Super Saiyan, and Ikari state to create something new, the very thing he has been working on creating since he had arrived on Beerus' planet, as his blue aura of Super Saiyan Blue flickers with green jolts of energy thanks to his Ikari state. As Goku dubs this form the Godly Super Ikari, the blaster begins to overcharge to the point it has lightning jolts flickering around it. With Goku feeding more and more energy into the device, he tells his wife to take the shot whenever she can. As she begins to wind up the blast, Bulma is still locked in combat with Cell. And Cell, seeing the attack getting charged and having sensed Goku putting his energy into it, knows to put himself between Bulma and Bulma, making sure the woman can't take a shot on Cell without hitting her daughter, using her as a shield. However, what Cell doesn't account for is Bulma being the fighter who knows Cell's fighting style the best, as she fakes the Bugman out as she pretends to go for a solar flare, causing Cell to cover his eyes in order to prevent the attack. However, no light ever comes from the girl. Instead, Cell feels a knee slam into his perfect chin. As Bulma then flies away, having stunned Cell for a second, it opens up the shot that Bulma was desperate to take, as she fires off the blast which knocks her and Goku off their feet for a second, before Goku, using all of his strength, steadies their aim, and the blast of proportions which have never been seen before and likely will never be seen again cuts through the air and soon through Cell's body. As the blast begins to push Cell into deep space, he can feel his body desperately trying to hold together with its regeneration. However, as he flies further and further into space, his body is being destroyed more and more down to the atom, and in his final moments of life, he thanked the Sun family for giving him the battle he craved oh so dearly, before becoming nothing, not even a speck of dust. Immediately, Goku and Bulma run to their daughter, who cries hysterically on the floor at the sight of Cell's destruction. Even after knowing all the horrible things he had done, they were still best friends. As the family of three embrace themselves, they are soon joined by a weak Gohan and Trunks. Both having been unpetrified, followed the crazy energy coming from this area. As the Brief/Sun family embrace one another, they make a vow eternally to always be there to support one another and take on any threat as a family, like they have been, with tournaments against other universes, old wizards, and even alien Avengers not being enough to stop the family. We cut nearly 10 years ahead. We find Bulma and Goku babysitting their two grandchildren, Pan and Cargo, who both continue to grow into their own people, and Goku and Bulma have loved watching them flourish as their own beings. Both enjoying the life of retirement and relaxation their old age had brought them. As Bulma rests her head on Goku's shoulder, the couple sit in silence. That is until young Cargo and Pan ask a question which makes the pair laugh. As they ask their grandparents how they met one another, Goku laughs the loudest, sharing that when he first met their grandma, she shot him directly in the head, causing him to laugh louder and soon be on the receiving end of a slap from Bulma. As the saying continues to giggle, the old couple hold each other close and share the story of how they fell in love. And that's where we will leave this story. I hope you enjoyed every part of this story, and while the ending is rushed and everything in Super is a little rushed, I am happy with it, since the idea I had with this series was to make Bulma just as involved as the Z Fighters, or being involved in creating things which saved the day. And I think I did that for the most part in Z. I had the gravity chamber being the major thing which helped against the Saiyans. I had the Bloodwave machine being the thing which saved the day against Frieza. I had the healing pods, which was what prevented Goku from dying to his heart disease, and I had Cell being the reason they beat the Bora. Every move I made in this series feel like it worked, and Bulma was contributing to each segment of the story, which is what I really wanted. However, going into Super, Bulma could do less and less to help, at least with what I had set up. So making her a side character in a series she was supposed to star in felt wrong, so I wanted to make sure I didn't take this story further while also making sure that I finished the arc I had already set up with Cell, hence why this is happening a little bit earlier than I had originally planned, but also make sure that Bulma was directly involved in the final fight. However, in hindsight, and I never say this story would have worked so much better going into GT. I could have had both Goku and Bulma join their grandkids on taking on the Grand Tour, and you could have Bulma showing off her on-the-fly thinking and genius, maybe even mentoring Cargo into becoming a scientist, while Goku mentors Pan into becoming a warrior. And it was something I thought of on my drive to work when I was literally writing up this script, and I'm really annoyed I didn't think more about what I was going to do with this series. So maybe I might do a short GT cut at some point, and depending on how well people receive it, I might make that the definitive ending for the series and just cut the Super stuff out of the movie. I'm not sure at the minute. But from this, I've learned my lesson, and this series is still something I'm quite proud of. I love everything I did in the Z arc of the story, and things in Super admittedly aren't the best, but I'm still happy with it. But for those of you who are looking for another take on this series, I assume most of you have seen Marco's take on it, but if you haven't, and for some reason you watch me, go check out Marco's What If Goku Married Bulma. It was actually the very same thing which inspired me to give this series a go. But if you're looking for a more newer take on the series, I advise you check out Plus's version of this story, as it's got a crazy amount of potential and I'm really enjoying it. But that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, and to all, a good night. See you next time, guys.